10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello everyone. Hope you all are doing great and safe at your end. Welcome to the day 4 of pre-hackathon speaker sessions. Hack This Fall is hosting live workshops, talks, and discussions which have already started from 26th October and will end tomorrow. You can check out our website for a complete schedule. Now, coming on to the speaker session, this talk is for people who understand tech and can communicate ideas clearly. In this talk, we will learn about the powerful significance of building developer communities and their effect on the ecosystem. And with that being said, let me introduce you all to our speaker for the session. We have Cherish Santoshi joining us. Cherish is a writer, speaker, and a program manager. He is currently working with HackerEarth, managing programs for a community of 4.5 million developers globally. He started working in DevRel space 6 years ago and has strategized and managed programs for companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Government of India, etc. In the last year, he worked directly with over 1 lakh developers and 50 plus companies to create meaningful products. We welcome you, Cherish, and look forward to your talk. The virtual stage is all yours.
Thanks, Abhishek. That was quite an introduction. Thank you. All right. So, if you guys can hear me and everything is working fine, if you could just say yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Awesome. Fantastic. So, thanks, Abhishek. I'll take it from here. And just one more thing I want to convey that whoever is listening, if you guys have logged in, I want to keep this interactive. Feel free to add your questions in the comment section right live. I obviously will be breaking in the end for questions, but if you encounter a question while I'm speaking something, feel free to address it. We'll take some time and address these questions. I want this to be as interactive as possible. Yeah. All right. So I'll start sharing my screen now, and we'll begin from there. Abhishek, if you could confirm, right, if my screen's visible, yes?
Yes, it's visible. You can continue.
Uh, Perfect. All right. Awesome. So I got introduced and actually approached by Siddharth for giving this talk. Siddharth has been managing this entire campaign beautifully. He's been managing a lot of communities and also a lot of platforms altogether. So we came up with the topic of starting with DevRel. DevRel is developer relations. We'll get into more of that. But hey, a little bit about myself. So my name is Cherish Santoshi, as you guys know. I'm currently a program manager at HackerEarth. I come from a very small city called Chandigarh. It's up north, very close to Himachal, so always near to the hills. My first stint in professional corporate space was with Google, where I was a Google Student Ambassador. That's our logo. And after Google, I joined Amazon, where I worked with business operations and analytics team. So at Amazon, I worked closely with data team, operations team, and also engineering. We got a lot of data to analyze and improvise and draw insights from, and then further use that data to build products at Amazon. Now, currently, this is my team at HackerEarth. Sorry, this is my team at HackerEarth. A few faces here and there, but these are the people I closely work with. So, if you have received an email about a hackathon or a hiring challenge that has been going live, or it's coming along, chances are that one of these guys has probably sent you that email. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us in case if you want to know more about HackerEarth. So let's start with what is DevRel. And I picked this topic because DevRel is one of the most confusing things around, but yet one of the most booming things in the world, especially in community space. In last year and a half, I have gotten asked this question, but what is DevRel, right? Which companies use it? What is the point? Um, Tell me more about this, right? So I thought I'll pick up this topic, and maybe check with you guys how much you know, and also shed some light on this. So, uh, DevRel is actually developer relations. Developer relations means that you are maintaining relationships with the developers for the company, and also vice versa, right? The developer itself wants some level of insight from the company. So, let's say if you're a developer advocate, you're advocating for the company to the developer, and you're also advocating um, for the developer to the company, right? So developer relations go both ways. It's not one-sided relationships. You advocate for developers just as much you advocate for your own company. All right, so why is DevRel important? Yes. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yes. Can you see the notes as well?
Yes, Cherish.
Okay, fantastic. So why is DevRel important, right? Sorry, Abhishek, you just I wanted to check if you guys can see the is this window covering any screen, or can you see the entire black screen altogether?
No, we can see the both of the screens.
Awesome. All right. So I'll keep this away so that you guys can see the entire screen altogether. Perfect. Right. So why is DevRel important? Yes. So developer relations is fairly a new concept. Google started developer relations team in 2011. A lot of teams don't have developer teams right now. It's booming. Everybody is growing developer relations team or community team or outreach team. Or you must have seen, if you go and search for opportunities at Google, you'll find a few opportunities called developer advocates, right? You must have seen this developer advocate, developer relations or community managers kind of roles now booming up in companies which have a huge developer presence, like Google, Microsoft, MongoDB, Stack Overflow, GitHub. uh, you know and that's why here is something to actually consider. Most of these companies have a huge presence in the developer relations market, and they're also trying to maintain that relationship for their own benefit, right? For to make sure that they're providing the right tools and all the service to the developers, and also growing in the right form, right? Now I want to make sure, I want to tell you a few things, like whenever you're joining DevRel, right? The person who will be approaching you could either be from a marketing background, could be from product background, or could also be from an operations background. Now developer relations as a team can sit with product team, because if it sits with the product team, chances are, as a DevRel professional, what you're doing is taking the product and going back to the developers, getting some feedback on the product, and relaying it back to the product team so that they can make necessary changes, and also plan their roadmap and product strategy accordingly, right? Now if your DevRel team sits with marketing, which is most likely going to be the case, right? Most of these DevRel teams are marketing oriented. Chances are you're going to acquire a lot of developers for the companies. Now you may acquire these developers either because you have some content as a company to disseminate, or you have some course that you want people to take, or you also have some campaigns, hackathons, or hiring challenges, or whatever, right? Anything of any service that a developer can use, right? uh, uh, an example of these are, like, a DevRel professional at GitHub basically will interact with the developers, get his feedback on GitHub, get his feedback on the new features that have been rolled out, see how that is trending with developers, and relay it back to the product team, right? So that they can make necessary changes, or maybe plan their product strategy accordingly. A DevRel professional at, let's say, Paytm, or developer relations at, let's say, Google Play, right? They basically want more adoptions or more users on their platform. So they're trying to maintain relations so that the with the objective that more and more users get on their platform and they enjoy their platform, right? So that they can curate it accordingly. A developer relation professional at HackerEarth, Code Chef, Udemy, or Coursera, these guys, MongoDB for that matter, or even Microsoft. These guys will probably get in touch with you and maintain relations so that you can come join their courses or their programs, their certifications. So far, let me quickly check if there are any questions. Okay, no questions here. In case you guys have any questions, I'll quickly keep checking here. Awesome. Hey, Karthik. If you have any questions here, I'll keep checking this window. Feel free to type in here, and I'll address them right away. Okay. So this is why DevRel is important, right? Okay. So what do developer relations guys do? Like, so consider this, right? Um, if like even for this hackathon that we're here, why must an organizer like Siddharth or Abhishek reach out to you? Why is a hackathon successful if it is being adopted and reached out by many developers, right? There is clearly some business relevance to developer relations, and there is some clearly a personal benefit of developers when they associate with a company which has a developer team. Now, as a developer, you're bound to be curious. You're bound to be of a problem solving mindset. Now, these skills can come in handy, right? Now, as a business, consider this. As a business, you most likely you're going to have three objectives. One of these objectives could be you want to crowdsource a solution or a strategy. You have a strategy that is heavily reliant on the people who use your product or your platform or your service. Now, keep in mind that your strategy and roadmap is highly dependent on what the users or the developers want, right? So you want to get their feedback in real time and plan your strategy accordingly, right? So you want to so the first objective is crowdsourcing, crowdsourcing solutions or even ideas for that matter. The second objective could be something like a adoption, API or a product adoption. Now, this is an example of what I just gave you, right? Like somebody who has imagine you're a Paytm employee or a Google Pay employee, or let's say GitHub, right? You want more and more people on your platform because then you get relevant. Obviously, that means you're a more valuable company. Your user base increases. You're more profitable. You're evaluated higher. Let's say there is okay, so let's say that you have a company and I have a company. We both come into a B2B payment gateway kind of a company, payment industry, and we both try and compete for more share of developers. Now, the reason why DevRel lies in marketing is we both are basically trying to acquire developer mindshare and developers on our platform, right? So it's an outreach strategy. It's a pull strategy. You're going to spend some dollars on advertising on Google, Facebook, or whichever platform and acquire people on your platform. I, on the other hand, make a community of developers. I reach out to them and I tell them, hey, this is my community. Anybody who's interested in payment gateway, fintech, or B2B apps, come here. This is a community where we continuously discuss these things and we take your feedback and relay it back to our product. So all your feedback is actually accumulated and put into action in our company. Whom do you think is going to win this battle? Which side will developers actually lie and get their users, right? Now this is a marketing strategy altogether. That's why DevRel kind of usually lies with marketing. So this is what developer relations guide do. So this was the second objective. The first was crowdsourcing solutions or strategy. The second was API adoptions, and the third is branding, and engagement. Now consider this, right? Look at it this way. We have a lot of huge business companies or fintech companies which have fantastic developer teams, right? But they're not necessarily known as tech companies altogether, right? So they miss out on a lot of great developer talent. If you ask a developer in third year or fourth year, which is your dream company, they'll probably say, Amazon, Facebook, Google, or whatever, right? Or Tesla, Netflix, FANG companies mostly. But nobody would say, JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs, or let's say, something which is in business side, UHG, right? these companies, although they have great technical capabilities because they're managing millions of transactions every second, and they need great developers for it, but they're not necessarily being marketed that way. So the third objective, where you want to market and brand yourself as a tech company, that is where you create a developer relationship, where you continuously propagate and put out a message that, hey, we're a tech company and we care about you, and we want to know that how we should strategize things, and that's why we want to maintain relations with you, so that tomorrow, if I'm opening a talent pipeline, if you want to hire somebody, you guys can come and join. Right, so that's the third objective. So most likely developer relation professional, who can go by the names of developer advocate, community manager, program manager, DevRel person, will probably touch base on these objectives. Quick pause here to see any questions. How to start with DevRel? What are the prerequisites to enter DevRel environment? Perfect. All right, so I'm going to answer these questions. Very relevant questions. Okay, let's go ahead. Right. Let me just first tell you, these are the companies who have developer relations teams, or developer relations communities, right? Now, if you're maintaining relations with developers, it's going to be mostly one to many kind of a relationship, because DevRel teams are fairly small. Like Google has I think, a DevRel team which sits out of Bangalore of maybe 11, 12 people. And so the people who are going to reach out to you are just going to be one or two, right? And developers will be in millions. So going to be one to many. So a one to many relationship is kind of a community. Is basically a brand. If it's just one brand actually talking to you guys, it's one to many relationship. But what basically we want is many to many relationships, where one developer is interacting with another. They put together, they collaboratively form something, and that's where we use that, and use it for a company's advantage. So the best way to do this is to create communities. So these are the communities: Atlassian, Salesforce, Trailblazers, Sephora, Fitbit, SAP, Kronos, DigitalOcean. So these are all the communities that were rated the best communities in 2020. So if you check out developer communities, so one more thing, right? Like, remember I was telling you that you could also have an objective that you want people to take up your course. Have you ever went on Salesforce website and try and take up their certification or learn about their course? You'll see there's a community called Trailblazers, right? So where you take a track, you learn about everything about Salesforce, whether it's the admin side, whether it's the development side, or whether it's about the management side. The entire community of Salesforce is basically people helping each other complete these courses, and that way Salesforce get more people who are certified with their tool and their technology, and hence better employees, right, for themselves, and also more people proficient in Salesforce, so that a lot of people. So if tomorrow I want, as a company, I want to hire somebody who can manage my finances, or who can manage my CRM, I look out in the market and I see there are a lot of people proficient with Salesforce, right? There are a lot of people who know about Salesforce. So why not get Salesforce as a tool that way, and hire somebody who's proficient with Salesforce, and then marry them together, get my CRM ready. Now, this is a fantastic strategy that has been deployed by Salesforce, and it's going well. That's why they were, number one in developer communities. And you recently must have attended Google DevFest. Uh, DevFest 2020. HackerEarth was also marketing that, and I was leading that campaign. So the third one, Google Developers, is also a community, developer community, which is going to go great. So if you're looking for a DevRel kind of roles, make sure that you apply to these companies. Find out if they have any openings. If you're looking for B2B companies, these are a few. You can get this from me, or reach out to me on LinkedIn to get, if you want to get access to this infographic. Okay. Okay. So possible careers in DevRel. All right. So I'll tell you what prerequisites are there. That was one of these questions that was asked. I'll just quickly check. Yeah. Right. So as a DevRel professional, you need to understand a few things, right? The first is you need to understand tech jargon. You need to understand developer psyche. Now, without either of these, you can't engage with developers. If somebody says, "Hey, I've used NumPy, or I've used libraries which are so and so forth, but my performance is this much, or which IDE do you recommend?" or what are my challenges, right? You need to understand these jargons so that you can relay it back to your product team and also advise accordingly. Now, the first thing is that you need to understand tech. You need to understand a little bit of tech jargons and also developer psyche. What kind of questions can they come up with? Anticipate these things. Now, once you've understood these things, right, there will be a lot of communication back and forth from developers to the business and from business to developers. Now, these are essential because basically, as a DevRel professional, you want to make sure that you bridge the gap between the business and developers. So, a lot of communication. You need to be great at communicating, articulating ideas. You need to be great at writing things. You need to be great at communication, written, verbal, and spoken altogether, and also written, in any form that may occur. If you can create content, that's fantastic. So prerequisites are understand tech, understand developer psyche, and create a communicate effectively. And the fourth one, which is highly effective, is create content, right? And these contents are not just create content, but also content strategy, like dissemination of content. Because understand that you can't have one-to-one relationships; it's also going to be one-to-many. So the content strategies that you create will be a direct metric of how effectively your business's vision or goals are propagated in the market. Now, the fifth and one of the most important things, and I'll conclude here, is community management. You're managing a community of developers, and you community management is a field altogether, right? I myself, I completed a course recently called Facebook Community Manager. You can go through that. Fantastic course. It'll tell you everything about community management, and that's also something that you need to kind of be a proficient with if you're looking with starting with DevRel. The roles that you will see when you enter DevRel are going to be program management, project management, developer advocate, and also community managers, right? So if you find anything related to these in these companies, give it a shot. But also before you do that, assess yourself if you have the right pedigree to actually apply for these things. Take a quick break here and check if there are any questions. Okay, no questions. Perfect. All right, so I want to end this topic. That I just quickly explain how to get started with DevRel, what skills do you need, why does it matter, and how can you get into it, right? What all the things that you need. So developer relations is fairly confusing out in the world, but this is what the basic generic understanding was, that a lot of people think that I play games, I interact with developers with cool things. A lot of people, my mom thinks that I play games too, right? My society thinks that I have some monkey business where I interact with developers. And a lot of developer relation professionals actually get to travel a lot, right? Because they have to give speeches like these in person. They get to interact with developers and businesses throughout the world, so they travel a lot. They make business alliances, they make partnerships, right? So that requires a lot of funding. So you'll see a lot of DevRel teams getting funded crazily, right? But that is changing now. So, and I think that I make partners, but what I really do is strategy and content planning, community management, program management. So it's mostly going to be a lot of hard work than you. A lot of hard work goes into actually DevRel teams, and what may come out of it is going to be very pompous, very larger than life. Travel, meet people, make partnerships, right? But at the end of the day, it's going to be a very hardcore strategy, operations, and also marketing oriented approach. So I'll just conclude here. I want to keep it short and crisp. Thank you for joining. I open up to questions. And if you have any questions for me and you want to reach out to me later, I think this link is already in the comments. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn and ask your questions. Get access to this presentation if you like. Okay.
Thank you, Cherish. That was really a great session. So I think there isn't any more questions. You have already answered the one. So some hackers might not have been able to join this session live, but as the recording is going to be available for all others, If they will have any questions, they will ask in the Discord channel. That is, we have a special channel, Ask Speaker. So please do have a look, and whenever you get time, do reply them.
Of course, of course. Just wherever you're going to post this question, if not in Discord channel, but somewhere else, let's say you find it on other social media channels, feel free to tag me there. I do not miss any questions. Consider, I do this for a living. I interact with developers and answer these questions. Just tag me there, and I'll find time to come and reply to your questions.
Great. Thanks a lot, Cherish. It was
Thanks,
indeed a
Abhishek.
great session and had a lot to gain. So there's one question from my side. Is there anything you would like to suggest or any tips to our hackers that hack this fall through your experiences with hackathons?
Of course. Sure. Thanks for bringing that up. I actually didn't want to touch hackathons because I realized that a lot of you know speakers might be touching on hackathons already. But sure. So I manage hackathons at HackerEarth day in day out, right? I must have done maybe 50 plus or maybe 70 plus hackathons in last 1 year itself, right? And now when I manage hackathons, I also see a lot of businesses, how they look at hackathons. Now, remember that hackathons also will come with these three objectives: that they want to crowdsource solutions, they want API adoptions, or they want branding, right? At the end of the day, no matter how great of a hacker or no matter how great of a developer you are, what really matters is how well you're able to identify the business need, actually communicate how your hack solves that need, and sell it to the jury, right? The jury is most likely going to be people like me who are program managing the entire thing, or also businesses, right? People like if you're people who are funding the entire hackathon, people who have their problem statements out. uh, I don't have to tell you guys how to build hacks. You guys are expert at those. What I really want to tell you is that whenever you're building something, you need somebody who's going to analyze business relevance of your hack, identify how can you fit that problem statement, and clearly quantify the impact that your hack is going to add to the entire business. So let's say if I'm a team and I'm solving something for Intel, I want to use their products, right? I want, first of all, what I want to do is use their products and libraries to tell them that, hey, your product is actually great. That just instills a confidence in that company right away, that this person knows how to sell things, right? Second, you want to quantify that here is my hack. By doing this, this is the performance metric. Your jury is not somebody who's going to look in detail. These are people who read their emails on their phone. These are people who read infographics. These are people who go look at year on year or quarterly growth. They look at numbers, infographics, pie charts. The clearer you can communicate your information the succinct way by quantifying it, the more your chances are to win this. If you can do that, fantastic. Practice your pitch. That's my last advice to everybody. Practice your pitch with as many people as you can, because this pitch not only is relevant for your hackathon, but also for your startups. And also tomorrow, if you take this product, create an MVP, go to investors, the more you practice your pitch, the better you'll be able to communicate your ideas, your vision, and how this hack solves, this product solves a lot of these problems that may occur, and you can foresee. As a CEO, as a business, as a leader, how effectively can you communicate your vision, your strategy is going to matter a lot, and that comes by practicing your pitch. I hope that wasn't too much, but that's all I wanted to tell you.
Thank you so much, Cherish. These were some valuable suggestions, and it would be a great help for the hackers too. Thanks once again for joining us today.
Thanks, Abhishek. Yeah, take care. Thanks, Siddharth, for conducting this. Good luck to all the hackers, and all the best. May the best hacker win.
Thank you so much, Cherish. Also, do fill the feedback form shared in the chat section, and it will also be used to assign the certificate for this session. It will be open for only 15 minutes and won't be reopened again. Thanks a lot, everyone who joined us today. Don't forget to subscribe the channel so that you can get the updates for all the workshops coming up ahead. Stay tuned. Hope to see you in the next session. Stay safe and take care.